We are live on YouTube.
I guess we could also just
and Facebook. Now I have to do it on
not start
Instagram.
recording just for a few minutes.
Oh, and we are now going to be live.
Whoa.
Oh,
There we go.
Now we are live on all platforms. Hello, everybody.
what's going on, guys?
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Hope everyone's doing well.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Well, JD, I'm sorry you had to jump out. Hopefully you could come back later and watch the stream.
Yeah.
Post.
Or check us out on the podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
Yeah, you could just do that there. But before we start recording, JD, to answer your question, for your Incog X holster, you need the bottom mount clip with a wing to make that work.
It's really be all you need. You can get rid of the clip on the not wing clip, and you can replace the wing and the clip. It's kind of integrated on that holster. You can get rid of that whole thing and put the alias bottom mount with wing on that. If you have the Incog with the mag holder, you're probably gonna want to keep. I would just probably keep the stock clip on it, to be honest, on the other side. That's what I would do. I would also, if it were me, not use the mag holder and use the Neomag Gen 2.
Gen 2. You need the subtle music in the background there after, like
Subtle music.
cue.
Well,
I didn't even
sound
increase my.
effects.
What's up, on point 2 AT? How are you, bud? Hope you're doing well.
I didn't increase my audio options over here.
Oh,
Yeah, we do have kind of just
the very basics.
just basics.
slowly. We're getting there.
Don't do that.
You gotta hit it on the thing. There you go.
Oh,
There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Ooh, we're up to 10 whole people.
11.
11. Look at that.
11. 1D1.
Although I think you guys count. You
Probably. Yeah.
Count. I think
I'm
you guys
on.
count.
You're on. You're on there too.
we're the top fans.
Top fans.
Top fan.
That's fine.
I'm gonna log out of the Neoga Mag, log into mine so I can comment.
You should.
He's number 1 fan. On point 2A. Number 2 today.
I'm glad you're blessed today, buddy.
Hashtag blessed.
Blessed.
Me too.
So Tib is not on right now. He's picking up his son from flag football practice, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
So he'll be on later,
We're kind of killing a little time, kind of taking our time.
slowly, before the podcast starts.
The podcast before the podcast.
Yeah, it's just the
live
the
before
precast.
live.
This is the special time that we have just for the 4 people right now that are with us live.
I see 9,
Hello.
10.
Yeah, but I'm just subtracting the
I'm about to watch the live from
those here.
my personal account now.
Here, fine. I'm
Let's see
gonna
if that added
exit out of
one.
the YouTubes.
Let's see. Oh,
On
we just
here.
went up to
Oop.
8.
There we go. Now I can't see the YouTube, so I am not counted as a viewer anymore. And we're 9. Oh,
There's
Michael
Billings.
just joined. Michael's also sitting across from me and commenting. He is also in the live.
All right, I logged out. So where are we at now?
10.
All right, I didn't count.
I still see 8, but
Well, but I also have Facebook.
that's true. Yeah.
So
We got 2 on Facebook. Anybody on Instagram?
let's see.
Oh,
Sorry, I have
so
to jump between things. We got, well, we have people jumping in and out. Zeus7 Tactical said, good seeing you at goals. I assume he's talking about you, Michael. He said the rest of us need to come next year. Maybe.
Maybe.
Strong maybe.
It's going to be in Iowa.
It's not in. I think it's Iowa. It's Iowa, Illinois, Utah. One of
They
those.
said
It's
Ooh,
Iowa.
Clark Defense. Hello, guys. Noel with Nighthawk Custom just wanted to say hi. Hello, Noel. How are you?
Hey,
You guys make awesome guns.
yeah, they do.
We love Nighthawk.
I don't
Nighthawks are great.
I don't own one, but I enjoy it. The few times I've shot them.
I don't own one either.
No.
I would like one.
Mhm.
Zeus says we have to see the new Victo stuff. Did Victo
Yeah, I heard.
drop some stuff
I think
at the show?
Yes.
Michael was telling me about it.
super excited about
Sounds
it.
really good.
Is it
Yeah.
more bags for me to drool over?
Yes.
We should save. All right, let's just go ahead and kick it off. Let's talk about all this stuff on
All right.
the show.
Okay. All right.
Are you guys excited? Nate, you're gonna love it.
All right. Well, let's
They listened to what we said after a year.
Don't shh.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Hit record.
I am. Hold on. I will.
Okay, Dad.
Welcome to Life, Liberty, and Equip Podcast. I'm Greg Davis, founder of Neomag and a firm believer that life is worth living boldly. Liberty should be used for good, and we all have a calling to be equipped to pursue it. Every week, we explore what it means to live with intention and carry the tools and mindset that prepare us for whatever comes. We'll dive into topics around the freedoms we cherish, the gear we trust, and the skills that equip us. This is more than a podcast, it's a mission. Life, liberty, and equipped to pursue it. Let's get started. We're coming to you live on the Neomag YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook accounts right now. And we'll be bringing your live comments into the conversation today. So if you're there with us live, we'd love to hear from you. If you're listening to the recorded podcast, you can catch us every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to be part of the live. You can get involved with us on our Discord server. Link is in the chat and show notes. If you're part of the Neomag Insiders Club, we have a discount ready for you later in the show. Insiders Club is free to join, and you get access to exclusive episodes, discounts, and more. You can sign up using the pop-up on our website at theneomag.com. Also hosting today, currently, right now, is Nate Hills and Michael Billings.
What's up, guys?
And Mr. Tiberius will be joining us in a little bit later.
Noel with Nighthawk says he's trying to arm all the good people of the world with high-end pistols. And I just want to say, I think they're succeeding with the people that are buying them. Well done, Nighthawk. They are high-end, excellent pistols.
Quality machining.
This segment brought to you by
Nighthawk.
We're not sponsored by
That's
Nighthawk.
why they've not given us
That
a thing,
would be awesome.
but we just gave them a free plug.
But they are awesome pistols, so go check them out.
The free plug's usually Red Bull. Are you proud?
Usually.
It's kombucha.
It's kombucha instead.
Give me liberty!
Oh.
Nope, wrong one.
There it is.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
I'm ready to live.
You're living with that drink.
I am living with this drink.
That's gross.
This segment
It's
also
terrible.
not brought to you by Liquid Death. I found this weekend.
It's not good.
I found it's called Deathberry Inferno, and they do, and maybe it's on purpose. They do a horrible job. Liquid Death does a horrible job of actually explaining what the flavor is inside of the can.
It's called Liquid Death. That tells me everything I need to know.
It's-
It doesn't
well,
taste good.
So the original Liquid Death, it was just water. It was just canned water, and actually I thought it was really good water.
The branding is
it
very
doesn't-
good.
The branding's amazing. I'm learning from them actually. So you know you're a business owner when you subscribe to other businesses' emails just to get their emails so you can learn from them. And Liquid Death is one of the ones that I have recently subscribed to that I've been learning from. But anyway, I found this stuff. It's called Deathberry Inferno.
There's a parental warning label.
Yeah,
on the
there-
side of
what?
it.
Yeah, there is parental warning, extremely spicy.
Yeah, it is. It's not
But-
good.
They build up their drinks so much anyway, like Liquid Death. Like everything sounds so dramatic. So when you get it, you're like, it's just like a, just whatever flavor it is. It's kind of like a muted flavor because it is water. But this I found, literally I had no idea what it was, but I thought I would try it. And I crack it open, and the first thing you taste is like the sweet, like berry, followed by a punch in the mouth
Which is not fun.
by some heat. And I don't mind heat,
It's gross.
but it's kind of fun.
I don't want to
never-
drink spicy.
He's got
I'm
a
not-
party in
I'm
his
not
mouth.
in.
I love bourbon. I don't mind
Mm,
spicy. I don't mind at all.
Zeus7 Actual on Instagram said, didn't they have a witch come in and curse a line? I don't know if that's true, but if so,
Look at you and your Liquid Death.
you have your
No
Of
idea.
spice in your mouth.
your witch's brew.
I know
over
that
there.
I know they really play into the whole their whole theme, but this stuff's pretty good.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not
That's spicy.
sponsored.
Well, we have a lot of product spots today, none of which
Have any
have we received a single thing from.
wah wah.
We have personally spent money on all these things.
What? No, it's That's So Ohio.
Is that what the kids say?
We could use it'd be fun to have a channel sponsor. Who wants to be a channel sponsor?
Like
Nighthawk
this channel brought to you
Liquid
by
Death?
Neomag?
currently,
Neomag.
but could be brought to you by other things.
They could. my plan is not to. My plan is that this whole thing is brought to you by Neomag. And if you guys enjoy this live, if you enjoy the podcast, all these things, the reason all of this exists is because of you guys supporting Neomag.
That's true.
Supporting the three of us,
That's
plus
accurate.
everybody else here. We all exist here because of you guys supporting us. So
who is it powered by?
that's why
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
You are just jumping the gun.
You will you will hear Neomag products push fairly often and stuff like that. But my plan is to not really bring in other companies' commercials, because I hate when I'm listening to a podcast and suddenly I have some product commercial I have to fast forward through and stuff like that. So
Oops.
anyway, if you guys enjoy this podcast, we would appreciate your support
Boom.
via the neomag.com.
Boom.
Boom.
There it
So what's going on life-wise? So we did start our life segment. This is just kind of a segment. If you're first time catching us here, we talk about life, liberty, and being equipped to pursue it. Each one of those is a different segment. This first segment is life, where we just kind of talk life, what's been going on with us. You guys kind of get to hear from us what we're doing. We'd love to hear from you guys if you are live, if you want to share what you've been up to in the last 6 days since we have met. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'll throw you guys comments in here. So
It's true. All accurate.
Yeah,
so,
what did you guys do this weekend?
Yeah, throw it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys and just what's going on in life. So I mentioned last week that I was taking my son to tech, which is ultimate archery challenge. And it was our first time going to it. I really just got my son into archery a couple of years ago. I've been shooting archery on and off for probably the last 10 years, but never really all that super serious. I would go to a 3D shoot every now and then with some friends. But this year, I've really taken things up a notch and really got my son into it more. We found a local place that has like a Wednesday 3D archery course, and so we'll go and do that. Invited some other friends to that sort of thing. So anyway, I came across this archery challenge. I actually heard about it last year from Phil, a guy I know. I'm going to call him friend, but we talk like once, twice a year. But he works at Origin. He works at Origin. Found out that they were there last year. I found out about it. So I booked me and my son, who's 12. We went there. It was in Indiana. It was right across the river from Louisville at a place called The Farm, sporting something at The Farm. I've actually been there once before shooting sporting clays, but they hosted Tech, which is the last stop of the season. Tech has events all across the country starting in the spring. And what they do is they normally had to have these events at a ski resort, and you actually ride the lift up to the top of the mountain, and then they have multiple courses, a bunch of courses, each of them ranging from 15 to 25 targets on a course. Well, it's called Ultimate for a reason. You are not going to see like a 20-yard deer on flat ground wide open. No. You're going to see like a turkey at 65 yards at a 20-degree downhill, steep slope that you have to hit. There's usually some pretty good repercussions if you miss. You're going to hit. It's going to be gone because they put it like on a horizon or whatever. It's going to be gone, or you're going to hit something and your arrow is going to explode and that sort of thing. So there's a cost to it. They also do a really good job of making it feel pretty similar to what it would be like to like stalk a hunt, where you are the best route from point A to B is down a ravine, up a ravine, across a ravine, over a creek, under fallen trees, over fallen trees, that sort of thing. So we knew it was going to be tough, but I'll be honest, it was probably one of the more physically demanding things I've done. And my son was a trooper. He never complained once. And we just had a really, really good time. We camped out, which I'm kind of a dummy.
Why are you a dummy?
So
Wait.
I
Use your head, right?
use your head. So when I was booking everything, they had on the website that you could book a campsite, and they had just like a regular tent site, there's a word that they call that for like a tent site. What's the word they use for
Primitive?
Yeah, primitive, like a primitive tent site, or they had a generator site. Well, I interpreted that as they would have, like, there's power to that lot. They would have power for you. They had generators there and whatever, so there was power for you. That's how I thought about it. So I kind of planned accordingly. I did bring. I have a Jackery that I've only used a couple of times, so I decided to bring it just to use it. Honestly, it was kind of an excuse to use it, even though I was thinking, I'm just going to run an extension cord from this lot into my tent and be able to run a fan and charge stuff, whatever. But I brought it anyway. Well, this is where the dummy part comes in. Yep. We get there and we pull into a gravel parking lot with a bunch of campers. And it hit me square between the eyes right in that moment.
They all have generators.
Oh,
you don't.
This is a lot where you bring generators. And there was one thing that kind of tipped me off a little bit before that. So they sent an email like a day or two before, and they were explaining the lots. They're like, we did our best to separate the generator lot from the primitive lot, like for noise or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. I was like,
oh, why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Well, because there's probably people complaining about trying to sleep in a tent next to a camper.
Why I don't want to hear a generator while I'm sleeping in my tent.
Well, oops. We were in a tent firmly between two
generators
with generators. And I felt pretty dumb in that moment. And it was also like during the day, it was like 103, 104 heat index. It was like 90, it was low 90s, but with heat index and everything was well above 100. So it was going to be hot at night too. First night we got there at like 6 or 7 o'clock and it was still 90 degrees. And so I'm just sweating like crazy, setting up the tent. I get the Jackery out, I brought a fan. So I knew it was going to be warm at night. So I at least thought I had to bring a fan. So I plug a fan into the Jackery and that's blowing on us as we're setting everything up. And I just laid there, like kind of did the starfish, lay there, try not to move, try to be cool at night. And our air mattress kept air for several hours. And we ended up, me and my son, like in the middle, kind of on top of, him more on top of me. He's throwing elbows in my face.
Yep.
And I looked at my watch and it was like 1 a.m. I'm like, oh,
cots.
We've not been here this long.
Cots are better.
So long story short, yes, I went and got a cot. There's a Bass Pro not too far. So the next day we shoot the course. I had a great time and it was way too hot to still be outside. So I said, we're going to find whatever we can to do. And we are right across the river from Louisville. There's plenty to do. So we went to Bass Pro because I needed to get a cot and just some other stuff I needed to get. We went and saw Superman and went and watched a movie. Went to Buffalo Wild Wings and just sat. We got like
out of the heat.
We got like one appetizer. Our waitress was very annoyed that we stayed there for like an hour and just got one appetizer. But yeah, so
you got something though.
Yeah, exactly. And I tipped her 100% of the tip. It was a $10 appetizer. I gave her $10 tip. I'm like, fine.
How was Superman?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard mixed.
It was pretty good. I mean, I don't expect a lot. I'm not a huge Superman fan to begin with, so I didn't really go into it expecting a lot.
It's because DC is poopy.
It was better than I expected it to be. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Wait for it to come out.
I'd wait for it to come out. Yep, I'd wait for it to come out. But it was wonderful. I would have watched anything, to be honest. So we went to a Cinemark, which has like the Lazy Boy chairs. I told my son, which I slept like 4 hours the night before. I told my son, I was like, I'll just be happy if this could be the most amazing movie ever. Whatever we were to go see, I said it could be the most amazing movie ever. If I can make it through without falling asleep, will be a miracle. And frankly, what I thought about doing was just finding every movie that I could throughout the night and just buy tickets to all of them, and we just sleep in the Lazy Boy at the movies the entire night. I was like, I wonder if they have any like 1 a.m. movies and
I don't think they do that anymore.
No, I don't think they do.
I don't think they do that anymore.
But it'd be way cheaper than a hotel room, which I did want to give some credit to this podcast. So we talked a couple weeks ago, I think. It was the last one, a couple weeks ago, just about being uncomfortable, about raising our sons, being uncomfortable.
It was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And so I'm there with my son. It's just him and I. It's really the first time that he and I have done anything like this. And I went into this as like, this is going to be a good learning opportunity for both of us because neither of us had done this event before. And it was extremely hot. We are extremely dirty and gross. We use, I don't know how many like the dude wipes, cold shower wipes. We went through bags of those because we got sunscreen, bug spray, sweaty. We're climbing up and down these ravines. It was gross. And so, and with as little as I slept the night before, and I just started doing math. I'm like, by the time I buy a cot, by the time I buy, like a couple of things that I needed, I'm halfway, if not all the way, to what a hotel room would cost.
Yeah. So
I'm just kind of doing some basic math. I texted my wife. I was like, do I go get all this stuff that I'm going to use a couple times a year? Or just get a hotel room? We could have a shower, we could have air conditioning, have all these things. But I thought about this podcast and the conversation that we had about
proud of you,
about being uncomfortable and kind of suffering a little bit, but to learn from it, whatever. I learned what generator lots are.
Yep.
I learned a lot about my Jackery, which we are going to, Mike was kind of alluding to, we are going to talk about that in our gear segment today. But I purposely did not go to, I pulled it up. I pulled a hotel room up. I looked at it. The reserve button was glaring me in the eye as it's 103 degrees outside. But I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this. And I'm glad we did. I now own a cot.
There you go.
A very nice cot. A big cot believer now.
Cots are great.
Cots are great. Honestly, one of the best things about the cot, I didn't really think about, is just you can actually fit things underneath it.
You can store underneath it. If you don't store things underneath it, you know what else happens? The air moves underneath it and cools your tuchus at night.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It was pretty wonderful. So now a proud owner of a Cabela's cot. It was on sale.
Was it low?
Steals and deals.
It's probably knee high.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah. Because there's low ones, like you're only a couple inches off the ground.
Yeah.
Versus ones. I mean, yours is probably about an average height.
Yeah.
I've seen ones that are. I've never seen one waist height.
No.
But I've seen ones that are decently.
Yeah, I would say it
tall.
was average height. I don't think I saw anything that wasn't the same height as this at Bass Pro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
They did have the bunk bed one.
I've seen those. Those are terrifying.
If they had one set
Just
up,
a little bit.
if they had one set up and we could have actually like tried it and see what the spacing is and everything, I may have got it.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So
you didn't.
I didn't.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was my awesome weekend. Just in a nutshell, but it was great. Nate, how about you?
Well, the weekend was pretty not eventful, really. It was just doing some stuff around the house, mowing the lawn. What did we do? A little bit of that. Now I'm blanking.
You blanking?
Yeah.
We say here, practice skills.
Yeah. That was Sunday afternoon. We did other stuff. I don't remember. It was mostly at home. It was not a busy weekend. It really is what it comes down to. But Sunday evening, my son wanted to go out and practice some baseball. He played baseball for the first time. Well, T-ball this year was his first experience with a team sport, and he wanted to go out and practice some hitting and some throwing and everything. And we got to go out and do that a little bit. He loves to hit, because who doesn't love to hit a ball? He doesn't love to practice throwing and catching as much. We spent more time throwing and catching to his chagrin. But I told him when he actually gets to playing baseball, he will do more of that than he will hit. And that's the skill that he needs to work on more. So we spent some more time doing that. He had talked about one of the boys that is on his team is really good, or was really good. I assume he's still good. The season's over. And he had said that he just wanted to play as good as this other little boy. And I told him the only reason that little boy is as good as he is because he has an older brother that plays baseball, and they play baseball together all the time. And so he's always practicing. He's always working on his skills. And we had a long conversation about how you're not just going to be good at something. You're not just going to pick up the bat or pick up your glove and immediately be better than everybody else to do that. That's something you're going to have to practice and work on your skills. So we got to have a little life lesson as we worked on it. He did get hit straight in the face on like the third or fourth throw because he's still trying to figure out that you have to move the mitt to catch the ball. So I threw the ball to him, and instead of moving the mitt to catch the ball, he simply held it, and then the ball smacked him in the face. So there was also some tears involved, but he did fine. We also got to go to Cedar Point as a family. We actually did that yesterday, which was a hot day. It was a hot day, but it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. Both kids got to ride rides. My son did jump on stuff that he was unsure of. He took the leap to jump on rides that he would be scared of. He didn't particularly like them. I didn't push him to do it. He did it on his own. He just wanted to try again. He's like, I didn't like it last time, but I want to try it again. So that was really pretty neat to give him a chance to try something that he wasn't looking forward to, that he knew was going to be stretching and challenging, but he chose to do it on his own. So I really liked that he made that choice. He's just like, I know that this is scary and I want to try and do it again. It's like, all right, let's go. Let's do it together. So we rode a couple of big rides, which was cool. But overall, it was a good weekend. John, one of our employees, John, just jumped on and said, give him a brother. No, John, I will not be giving him a brother. But yeah, so it was a neat couple days with, especially with my son, just working on life skills, right? Working on, hey, we got to practice things. If we want to be better at them, we can't just expect to be better than everybody else when we pick something up. We need to work on our skills. And then he was also stretching himself by doing things that he knew was going to scare him. It was not a big deal that he didn't like it. It was just something that he felt like he had to do without being pushed, which was cool to see him do.
Yeah.
So
I bet that same, I think it's just the human condition. We're kind of lazy. We just want things. We just want to be good. We just want to naturally be good at things. We want to naturally be wealthy, just all, all those things. And it starts at a very young age of okay, I want to play baseball and I want to be the best kid out there. And there's always going to be somebody better than you at everything. Yeah. And then just learning what practice is. Yeah. That, you got to put work into this. All my kids have had that lesson in multiple things, whether it's playing an instrument or a sport or in school and all those things.
Well, and you and I've talked about this. There are some people that are just naturally talented at things. Mm-hmm. There's some people that are just naturally athletic. There's some people that are naturally just better coordinated, which make them better at some of these skill sets and everything. And it makes it easier for them to pick them up. But they don't become proficient. They don't become excellent at it without practicing as well. Everyone has to put practice in to be good, to be excellent at anything. So in the case of my son, he wants to be good at baseball. We need to just go out and practice and do the thing. Even while we were throwing the ball, he had said at one point, he's like, why are you so good at this? And I said, but I'm not. I've just been doing it a lot longer than you have. I said, you're going to meet a lot of people, especially if you continue to play this, that are much, much better at me. And there's a very, very good chance that you're going to be better at me than this very soon just by practicing and playing. Because I never played. I just played for fun in my backyard. I never played competitively in any baseball type sport. So I never had practices. I never had all that. So I just played with my friends. So I told him, if you actually spend time working on this, this is something that you'll probably be better at than me at some point. And that's great. I hope you are. Mm. So just neat life story or neat life lessons worked on in the last few days, which was cool.
On Point on YouTube here says that's what I try to instill my kid all the time. If you want it, we got to work for it. And I just responded, I was like, the feeling of earning it is so much better than it being given to you or I guess not working for it. But like when you work towards something, when you've practiced and you've worked really hard and then you win, it's such a great feeling knowing that all the work that you did led up to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Up to that point. Like I did that because of all the work I've done. All the, there's stories of Michael Jordan and, Sidney Crosby and just, some of these your top stars in these sports, Tiger Woods, or stories of these guys. They're the last ones there. They're the ones shooting free throws, hitting their last ones off the putting green, and it just all these things. They're the last one off because they're putting the most work in.
First one's on, last one's off, putting the work in. They're not being lazy. Yes, maybe they had a natural proclivity towards things, but they were there. Ooh, hey, guess what?
Is Tiberius here?
Tiberius has arrived.
It's 1:30. I was just picking up my phone to check.
Hi, Tib.
Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, buddy.
Well, for
Hi,
everyone
boys.
listening, Tiberius Giblin has just arrived.
Famous YouTuber,
Famous.
Friend,
fellow bald guy.
Famous.
fellow bald guy has arrived to the live.
What did I miss?
Well, I gave the update on my TAC event. Nate was talking about what we were just talking about is just he's talking. Well, you can tell him what you were just talking
Yeah,
about.
I was just talking about the fact that I got to talk to my son about the fact that life takes practice, skills take practice. You're not just good at things by picking things up, that it takes effort and some just time to get good at things. You're not going to be good at it without putting effort into it. And he also stretched himself and got on rides that he would not have otherwise done on his own, or let me rephrase, that he knew he was nervous about at Cedar Point yesterday, things that he knew were scary, that he wasn't sure that he wanted to do, but he chose to do on his own. So stretching himself a little bit, which was cool.
Yeah, so we're just talking about how good it feels to earn
Earn stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Work for it, earn it.
Yep.
It's a good feeling.
It is.
Michael, what's been up with you?
So I had a long drive Thursday morning. I left at 1:30 in the morning.
Oof.
So it's about a 7-hour drive to Knoxville, but we had GoalCon 2025
Goals.
for year number 2 in Knoxville, which I'm Tennessee boy, born and raised. So love the area. Super excited to get down there. Got there, was fortunate enough not to have bad weather going down. We were fortunate enough not to have bad weather throughout the weekend because it looked like it was going to thunderstorm and rain the entire weekend. The range day kicked off. Got to the range day, got to see all the familiar faces, all the companies, interact with some old faces, interact with some new faces, shoot some newer products out in the industry. So always enjoy a range day. Had a couple mag dumps, which I love full auto mag dumps when it's not your ammo or it's your gun, so you don't have to clean it either.
Both of those things are great.
Yeah. Easy shout out to all the guns that were at range day. But GoalCon was another great event, in my opinion. There's a lot to do. There is a lot in a short amount of time. You are from one spot to the next, between speakers, between the events, the post events that they have, the inner networking, the marketing events. They really put a precedent on taking care of those in the community that are either starting out or have been doing it for a long time, but are still learning new trades. So they had classroom portions. For me, it's just super humbling. You know, we talk about the community and we talk about earning things. My business is going on 4.5 years old now. And to get a media pass, to start to be recognized, to go see faces and companies say, oh, who do you work for? And it's like, well, hi, myself, nice to meet you. But when you mention the name, they recognize it, or they're like, oh, I've seen your art, your photos, and your content, which is super humbling to see. I got to see Tibbs. So what up, Tibbs? We got to go to Stock and Barrel, which you absolutely love, best burgers in town. I stress. We had a funny story to taking about a block walk back to Tibbs's hotel because we picked that restaurant and I went the wrong direction. So we walked an entire block, maybe a little bit more,
in a circle.
Go back and decide not to eat there. So Stock and Barrel was wonderful. So it was great. I got to see a good friend from college and got to see, again, good people. I got to see a lot of the companies that we with Neomag work with and go shake hands, kiss babies, do all of that jazz. Got to see some new products coming out with Victos. The guys, they're doing some great things. So it was just a wonderful weekend all in all. And again, I don't want to give a shout out, but I do. So there was a bourbon company that I found, and you kind of got me on the bourbon kick. I loved a smoked old fashioned. I don't know all the ins and outs of bourbon. I haven't even had a sample of this yet. They wouldn't allow us to sample it there. However, the owner, his brother committed suicide. So he started this company to honor those in suicide awareness, whether it be military, law enforcement, first responders. And from talking to him, he hasn't taken a penny in his company. Most of it's volunteers, and he has like one, I think he said one employee that's salary. So I was in the most beautiful, artistic, historical district at an Airbnb. And I was like, I was touched by it because I have some stories that relate to suicide awareness. So I was like, please let me do something for free. So in turn, I took my business and took some professional photography for his company and gave him those shots absolutely free to give back to the community, give back as a service to them, which is super humbling because they ended up giving me a bottle. I was like, hey, I'm going to buy a bottle and I'll do this for you. And they're like, do it. Please go ahead. So we've got some bourbon. I don't know if we're going to do it on a Wednesday since you boys have the WOD.
We do have to WOD.
But at some point, we're going to have to try our bourbon and give them some feedback.
Maybe a post-WOD.
Post-WOD
shots.
bourbon.
Nope.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, everything.
So I will not make vomit noises on the podcast, but that's what will happen.
I need to add that one.
That'd be a good one. So all in all, great event. It's always good to see good people. It's always good to network and see how we're taking the right approach and steps forward for the 2A community, whether it be being a voice, whether it be an advocate, or just standing up for our rights and defending our constitutional rights. So good event. All in.
Steven wants to know if skydiving happened.
No,
No.
I just ran out of time. Like I really wanted to. Thursday with the
It was
weather,
busy.
yeah, the clouds were so overcast I wouldn't have been able to jump. So
It's because Tib said no, isn't it? It's because Tib said
Tib
no.
went
I had
out.
all my gear. I
I
asked
got scared.
so many people. I was like, "I want to skydive." We were 12 miles from the place, and everything was within a couple miles distance. But I am either, if I can't make it to the range for the steel match today, and the weather's right, I'm probably going to scoot out there and go get a jump in, or wait until this weekend and jump. I have the itch. So, do you want to shoot with me today?
I got a meeting after this today.
I have a meeting at 3:30, but we can totally go shoot some steel.
Yeah, very good. Tib, what's going on with you?
Like Michael, I went to goals, as he said, and it was a fantastic event. I went with a little different goals for the event. That I wanted
Ooh, look at
goals
you.
in goals. So I did not go to the range event. I have zero interest on pretty much any public range event, which a bunch of strangers and guns and full auto. I don't want to be around it. So I avoid range. Yeah, I've had too many guns pointed at me. I avoid public range days as much as possible. But we got in on Thursday. We left on Saturday night. We had almost 2 days to walk the show. And I didn't want to go to any of the classroom presentations and the speeches, even though I heard they were great. I was there just to make connections. And I walked around and, like Michael, met a ton of new people, improve current relationships with people I already knew, see a bunch of new products, support GOA, hung out with a bunch of my buddies from Brownells, and a bunch of fellow YouTubers. So it was awesome event. And I got home really late on Saturday, and it was good. The reason I was late today is my boy is doing flag football. And it's amazing, like Nate was just saying, to see how skills and talent are earned and how you have to practice and get better. And over the past 3 years, this is his third year doing flag football. It's amazing to watch him improve and be better at catching, better at throwing, more importantly, a lot more aggressive. He was always a little timid. And watching him out there today, he's pulling flags, and he had 2 touchdowns, and he had a 2-point conversion. He had a interception, and he batted a couple balls. And I'm like, man, just to see the improvement and the comfort and being more aggressive, it feels good. And there's been a lot of driveway, street, yard practice sessions, conversations about that. So it's good to see.
Awesome. Good.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, heck yeah. Go Tib.
All right.
Are we ready?
Let's get into the next segment.
Go to Liberty.
Give me liberty! Oh, give me death!
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
I still don't have a powdered
We
wig.
still gotta get you a powdered wig.
Just saying.
The whole
I
thing.
will
with
order it
the
right now
frilly
on
collar.
Amazon. It'll be there
I'm
tomorrow.
gonna do the frilly collar. Just give me the full coat.
Oh,
I'll
it's
wear
not-
the whole thing. Look like George Washington sitting here for a podcast. I'll do it.
Somebody
So-
was dressed up that way at Goals.
sure.
The whole outfit,
I'm sure.
musket and all.
But yeah, say they better have a musket.
Mm-hmm.
So in our liberty segment, we like to just talk about how we navigate using our liberties in today's world. And today I've got a topic that I think we could be here a while talking about this potentially. I've had conversations, me and my wife have had conversations around this. Just it applies to so many things in today's world. So I got a would you rather question. It's kind of on the nose, I'll be honest. So would you rather live in a society with unlimited personal freedoms but no shared moral code, or a society with fewer freedoms but strong community responsibility and ethics? Ooh. Ooh.
There's so many questions I have.
Oh.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Kick us off.
I didn't want to go first on this one. Well, I guess it depends to what extent. That was to what extent is there people don't have the same moral values, and what extent do you have less freedom? There's so many, like, am I living in like China, North Korea, lack of freedom, or am I living in like Rhode Island, lack of freedom? So that was my first thought.
Which is
And
very close, right? Aren't those two like China and Rhode Island?
similar, a couple
Basically,
years away.
yeah.
We'll get
Years
there.
away.
My first instinct was to say, bring on the freedom. And I think I have a good moral compass for myself. And obviously, it depends where everybody else stands. I'm very hesitant on that answer because it's just so many variables.
Yeah, I think this. Oh, but before I add anything, what do you guys think?
So to keep it simple, I put a couple of notes in here, but without a moral framework, liberty turns to lawlessness. So for me, again, if we painted the scenario or where we are, what country or what rules or not, when I say unlimited personal freedoms, I think of both the positive and the negative and what that can entail. So if there's no moral code to society, it's like the purge, because there's people out there that like evil. I have this saying when I teach, evil knows no face, no place, and no time. And there are people like that out there that have nothing but ill intent to do harm to others. And there's people out there that are held back by a moral code. So I think if you don't have that moral code in this society and you say everything's free, that's
It doesn't say there's no moral code. It says there's no shared moral code, which I guess could be.
But your
one and
moral
the
code
same.
to mine, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's very much one of those. I think it leads to lawlessness or chaos, because as an individual, there's only so much freedom that we can have in our own moral ethics to the point that it's crossed, right? Whether it be to defend ourselves, protect ourselves, or defend our loved one versus someone else's. So not having a common ground with that, or having that moral code.
So are you saying because if there's no shared moral code that we need to have less freedoms?
It's hard, right? Because I'm trying to keep it so simple to say that I don't want to eliminate freedoms, but I think that's why I put in the laws that society puts on us are an attempt to define the boundaries to protect the vulnerable, promote order, and encourage behaviors that benefit the community. Some laws are absurdities, right? And I think that's where we're finding that fine line of what can we define as a spiritual freedom, a moral freedom, and a birthright freedom or God-given freedom or just natural liberty, to where we're at today with some laws. Like you can't turn right on red. Why? It's an open lane, right? Like something like that. But yeah, and that's the simple answer.
Nate, what do you think?
I said this before we started. I feel like we almost live in option one already to a certain extent. we may not have unlimited personal freedoms, but we're pretty close in the US anyways to having pretty close to having unlimited personal freedoms in a lot of ways. I mean, there's,
I mean, in comparison to other countries.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. We're close. I'm not saying we're unlimited, but we're not too far off. And I would say that there isn't much of a shared moral code at this point across the board. There's going to be pockets of society that share a moral code, sure. And Michael was touching on our society has put laws in place to keep people safe. But I wouldn't put that as a moral code. That is societal norms being put into place. They may have historically been based on a morality, may have had some kind of moral code to create those laws at some point.
Like the intent behind it.
Correct. I don't know that that's the case currently.
Agreed.
So I feel like we're living in option one to a certain extent at this point right now. It's fuzzy, but I'd say we're closer to number one than we are to number two.
Yeah, we're probably somewhere in between, but yeah, I would agree. We're probably closer to the first here in the U.S., and I think that's. I mean, so I've had this exact thought line come up, or I guess kind of talking point come up in conversations about abortion, about gun control, about just you can apply this to turning red on red. You can apply this to everything from the most hot button topic to the most menial thing.
Yep, absolutely.
And you're going to have multiple sides to this, right?
By the way, I don't think I answered the question. I will say that I don't know which one I'd rather live in. By the way, I didn't answer that saying I prefer number one over number two.
Sure.
I actually don't know the answer. I'm just saying I think we're living more towards option
I didn't
one
answer the question either.
than
It's
option
more-
two.
Same.
So
well, so I'll tell you anything else. I think it's hard for you to get a word in since you're not here with
Yeah, no,
with Charlie.
I'm still sticking with number one.
Yeah.
Within reason, I'll stick with number one.
So, and I think if we were to gather, our customer base, our line, we're in the firearms industry. We are very much give us our freedoms, right? And part of our, if we were to have a gun control conversation, part of the things that one of our talking points on the pro gun side of things is, if the question comes up of, well, what about all the just all the murder, just all the gun violence and stuff, if we could just go round up all the guns and take all of that away, if you could get every single one taken, why don't we do that? We don't need to get into that conversation because honestly, be very one-sided with here right now. But it just like that's kind of where this goes is like, do you sacrifice freedom, especially as moral code declines? Like, should we be more willing to give up our freedoms because moral code is starting to slip and we need more laws?
I think the big assumption, though, is if you're giving up more freedom, you're going to be safer. And as we all know, that's not the case.
I was going to say, I think we're the slippery slope, the struggle with that discussion is that we're assuming whoever is setting the societal norms, how is this worded? The strong community responsibility and ethics, who is setting what those responsibility and those ethics are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we have no shared moral code in option one, but we have this community responsibility and ethics, but who's setting that? And do we agree with it? Because there's plenty of community style things of this nature, that throughout the 60s and 70s, people setting up communes and, group living situations that were trying to set up strong community responsibility and ethics that then we're trying to grow that as a society. And I don't know that we would step into that for a variety of reasons because we don't agree with it. Not saying that they shouldn't be able to do that, but we wouldn't necessarily want to sit in that. If they're the ones that are setting that, do we want to be a part of a place that they're saying, well, we're taking your freedoms and now you have to follow this code that we're setting up for you? I'm sitting there not agreeing with it. I think I would rather live in option one in that scenario. It's very dependent on who's the victor.
I think that the moral code, the morality behind it is what our moral code is. We take into consideration the responsibility of what it's going to do when it, and how it, what it's going to do and how it's going to affect others. Right. And that's good. We need that in the world, but I would agree with you, Nate. Like, number two seems like the world that we live in now. I mean, the government that we have now, not to go heavy political, but there's a lot of restrictions. Although we may foresee us having a lot of freedoms, there's a lot of limitations set against us. And in certain states, they don't have the rights that we do in regards to firearms or suppressors or anything.
Or
of
the
that
tinted
regard.
windows on my car.
Or
I went
tinted windows.
to get my car inspected and it got declined because it has a tinted window.
Wow.
Tinted windows.
Yeah, absolute freedom sounds powerful.
But yeah, so I think the other side of this, though, it just I'm thinking about, like, what would, imagine a country. I was going to say world, but let's just imagine a country that has such a strong community responsibility and ethics that you're actually okay having fewer freedoms because everybody's closer to being on the same page with what's right and wrong, with what's ethical, what's right and wrong. That, like, I don't need to have these freedoms because
Everything flows.
because everything's, like, you're in this kind of utopian
Fairy
state
tale.
where,
That's what I was going to say.
Right,
I
yeah.
think you're painting a picture that sounds lovely,
Yes.
but I don't think it exists.
no, well, yeah,
and that's the problem.
Right.
There's a lot of, we can make a argument that sounds lovely.
Yep.
Sure. I wouldn't argue that if that was possible, that would be great. I would rather have my freedom and live by my morality than have it being put into place and trusting that the folks putting it into place agree with the same thing and don't have an ulterior motive.
So I think we also need to, if that's the case, we also have to understand that this also applies to people that have the complete opposite,
100%.
right? Moral code. They will have 180-degree different moral code, and so they also deserve the same freedom, as us with our moral code, right? So that's just kind of the flip side of that coin. Is this, I think it's also easy to side heavily with option one if you don't think about all the other sides to the moral code.
I've had to have that. I'm going to actually just call it an argument with my mom before in discussing some of the more recent, meaning the last few years, recent moves in the political spectrum on things, where she was very upset with decisions made by the Supreme Court in deciding on things. And I said, it doesn't change your moral look at it. That doesn't have to change your perspective on it just because they did. And she's like, well, it's not what our country is based on. I said, actually, our country is based on freedom. It's not based on your morality. Now, I actually agree with what my mom's perspective is.
Sure.
It's not that I don't actually agree with her, but her being upset about it, my point was to her, we are a country founded on freedom, personal freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of politics, freedom. That's what we are supposed to be. And that is what has been ruled upon, is that they are provided that freedom. You can't get upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't infringe on your belief that isn't correct morally, and you don't have to agree with it morally. You don't have to hug it and kiss it and say it's okay.
Yeah.
But they're allowed to do it.
Yeah. That's why I have moved. I used to be much more, I'll say, right wing, but I've definitely moved much more central. And you and I have had this conversation. Yeah. I've moved much more central, and largely because of this. Like, if I truly believe in personal freedom, that means I also need to allow others to have personal freedom. And that means people are going to have the freedom to do things that I don't agree with, but I also want the freedom to do the things that I agree with that they don't agree with. And so in order for that to happen, you kind of got to meet, you have to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds a little libertarian, though.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of neutral. Well, here's a follow-up to that, right? So if we say that everyone, if we kind of can agree on number one, that everyone has their own moral code, and I guess I could equate that to the freedom to choose as Americans, here in the USA. If everyone's pulling in a different direction, doesn't the weakest still end up paying the price in the end? And that can be based on the weakest moral code, based on everyone else's perception of that moral code, right? Because there's like evil, there's good and evil, right? So there's the good moral code that can say, not crime, murder, that's wrong. Eating humans, that's wrong. But there's somebody out there on that opposite end of the spectrum that is of that degree that probably says that's my moral code, or equates that to their morality. So it's hard, right? Because it goes back to saying, well, even if we go off of moral code, then the weakest link gets eaten at the end regardless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, whoever, because there's always going to be a larger,
and is that freedom
group of whatever the belief is. There's always going to be a larger group of that, and so that's going to overpower the minority in that for sure.
Right, and then that's the question, that the first part of it is unlimited personal freedoms. Like, is that truly freedom, or is somebody always going to be on the opposite end of the
well
freedom?
So that's an interesting segue into, so this question comes out of a quote that I found from Lord Acton. It says, liberty is not the power of doing what we like, but the right of being able to do what we ought. So again, liberty is not the power of doing what we like, but the right of being able to do what we ought. I thought that was an interesting quote. And so I came up with some questions based on this. So how does this definition differ from common understandings of liberty? What does ought imply about moral responsibility? Right. So yeah, let's talk about this quote. So what thoughts come to your mind on this? And kind of based on the conversation we've had so far.
Stop using old English to confuse me, Lord Acton.
Ought to do.
Ought to do.
Yeah. The right of being able to do what we ought to do.
So I made some notes on this one. I think this is a really good one. I had to look up ought to and Lord Acton.
Who are you, sir?
So the first one, right? I have, liberty isn't about self-indulgence. It's about having the ability and responsibility to do what's right. Less about personal whim and more about moral duty. So that's my 2 cents and mic drop. I'm putting it in there. But I really do believe that in this case, liberty can be selfishness, right? So it ties back to my moral duty or my moral obligation to say, I'm at the convenience store. Oh, I want that candy bar. I don't have to pay for it. I can walk out, right? Well, my moral code goes out the window. That's my liberty to do so, right? But from the Bible, it says, thou shalt not steal, right? So simple, there's my morality clause right there that says shouldn't steal, but I want it. And it's a choice. So there's my freedom, but I have the right to choose. And if my moral code backs the liberty behind it, then it's not the selfishness that follows. Does that make sense? And I love my analogy of the candy bar because my sweet tooth.
Be better if it was Red Bull, but that's fine.
Kidney stones.
I made him drink the water this weekend real quick.
You
Just
did.
for you.
I'm proud of you. Good job, Tib.
Just throwing that out there. I don't think my opinion changes. Give me the freedom. I know it's not going to be perfect. I think we do need a basic set of rules and laws, but we see what happens when we allow government, and not just here and in certain states, but throughout the world, throughout history, when we allow the government total control and no recourse, and they can do what they want. There's going to be evil people who go overboard and do evil things. It's tyranny 101. It's happened a million times. So freedom isn't perfect. We do need some rules out there, but it gets abused every single time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You got any thoughts on that?
Nope.
I know that's not the case.
I don't have time to. There's so much. This is hard.
Yeah,
truly, it's hard. I did just look up the definition of ought. 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 And the Google's says the definition of ought is used to indicate duty or correctness, typically when criticizing someone's actions. They ought to respect the law.
Right.
Or used to indicate something that is probable. I don't think that applies in this case. So Lord Acton, I believe, is giving some kind of indication that you are applying right through. You're using your liberty with a proper application of law, proper application of your moral ethics. But I don't know.
I think in this perfect world where there's no where you have the freedom to do whatever, and no shared moral code, is that. And actually, one of the questions here was, can true liberty exist without moral framework? This could be a whole 2-hour conversation too. But I think that's kind of important question is, and kind of going with this quote is like, if we all have complete freedom to do what we like. And as Michael's bringing up, there's going to be people that are going to suffer because of that freedom. But if we're always looking to do, being able to do what we ought to do, with that freedom, then unlimited personal freedom is a great thing. But if we don't have some sort of moral code, then there's nothing that we ought to do, because ought to do something implies that there is something that we ought to do, and that's based on some sort of moral code and some sort of,
it defines boundaries
of ethics, of boundaries. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think your next question, number 4, with how do laws reflect the ought in society? I think that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, to protect the vulnerable.
It's societal recognition of, we may not all agree on where our morals and ethics come from, but we're going to generally agree that murdering other people is probably bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't do that. Stealing other people's things is probably not cool. So let's not do that. Generally setting up that structure.
Yeah, but Texas theft. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's another 2-hour conversation, but I think that's where you can have that discussion of, and that even goes back to our formation as a country. People will say that we were founded on a particular religion. The reality is we're not. They did their best to not found it on a religion, but on freedom, with some kind of, we have society, and there is societal rules to be a civilized society. Otherwise, it'll be anarchy. That is a reality.
Absolutely.
So what are the shared basic things that we know to be true? We don't steal from each other. That's probably not cool. We're not going to murder each other. That's not okay. And continue and extrapolate from there. And that's the ought, I think, that Lord Acton is talking about. They're not trying to infringe upon rights. Now, does that mean we haven't, with laws, tried to infringe upon rights? I'm not going to say that's not true. Obviously, we actually believe that is, in fact, the case, that we're infringing on rights in places like have been joking about it, but Rhode Island. We do believe that there's some infringements upon rights there
Couple.
with laws, right? That is a thing that we believe. Where those came from, we would say is not shared, any moral framework shared there. But overall, that's what the ought is in society.
It's an attempt to put the law into action.
Correct. Well, it's putting, I'm not going to say morality because it's not true, but it's putting some kind of rule in place that we can at least generally agree that this is a good rule, that we're all going to say that we agree that this is okay. We all agree that stealing's not okay. We don't like it. As a society, we're just going to say, generally speaking, we shouldn't do it. So let's make that a thing. And then we can all agree to that. Now, mine might be saying that because I have a moral that says, do not steal. You've talked about the Bible. We believe the Bible has said that we should not steal. That is a sin. We shouldn't do it. Other people would just say, well, that makes you a bad person, so you shouldn't do it. The society says, we don't care whether you're saying it because it's religious or because it makes you a bad person, or you just think it's kind of scuzzy, whatever. As a society, we're going to agree that this is not an okay thing. It's not based on an ethic. It's not based on a moral. We're just agreeing to it as a society that it's not okay. And that's where those laws are the ought in society, if that makes sense.
Yeah, protect, promote, and encourage behavior that benefits the community. Protect the vulnerable, promote the order, and then encourage the behavior for the community that falls in line with the law.
Tib, you had a thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting how this country was founded on Christian values and morals. And if you look at the founding fathers, all but like one or two of them were very, very active and religious. And there was even laws in the beginning that you couldn't serve in the government if you weren't a Christian of some sort. In certain states, they had those laws. So the country was founded on Christian values and morals in a lot of ways, not all, but a lot of the laws they are, like you said, thou shalt not steal. And it's interesting how as a society, we've slowly moving away from that. And how is it going to go forward as a society if we're less and less?
Let me devil's advocate though. That almost sounds like there's less freedom. Like you have to believe this certain line of thing in order to serve, because if you don't believe this, then you're going to give too many freedoms. We only want people to have these freedoms that fall in line with our Christian beliefs. So only people with Christian beliefs can be in power. But
no, I don't think that was I understand why you're saying that, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was more like, don't steal, don't kill, don't murder, don't, the basic values that were in society. They weren't saying that you have to be a Christian to come to this country or anything like that, or you have to be a Christian to do this or do that. Certain states started doing that, but obviously that's not the case anymore. But the values were all founded on that, especially if you look at all the founding documents. There's a lot of things in there from scripture that they sewn in there. So, the country was started that way, and it'd be interesting to see how we become less and less those values as a society, how freedom will play with that.
Yeah. I would love to actually keep this going and even apply this to some more topics, but I thought it would be an interesting thing for us to kind of dig into. This is very much a 10,000 foot view of this topic and how it applies to things. But I think it's something that we can all kind of reflect on. And I have kind of one last question, just kind of like a reflection question. This isn't for us to answer out loud, but just for us to think about is when must we limit our own freedom so that we do what we ought for others? I think that's a compelling question, and one that we can definitely apply in a lot of different ways. So we're going to kind of leave it on that note, and we're going to head into our equipped segment.
Gun and a radio.
What?
Not exactly Christmas, is it?
You expecting an exploding pen?
Always.
Yeah.
We don't really go in for that anymore. Good luck out there in the field. And please return the equipment in one piece.
Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Are you ready?
Yep. Go ahead and bring
Is
it
it
up here.
time?
Oh, is it
Here it goes.
powered
So
by?
I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that I had brought my Jackery
It's large.
on my camping trip. So if you're watching, Nate just put it up on the table.
I'm trying not to unplug things.
We're actually powering this podcast from the Jackery.
Jackery.
We've had our board plugged into it, our lights, except for the one lights behind me, but our lights over here. Everything's has been run off of this. The computer's being charged from it and everything.
It's large.
So I bought this, I think last Black Friday on Amazon. They had a deal on it. And first time I saw one is actually from Michael.
Hand model.
He has one I thought it was kind of neat. There's a good deal on it. So I picked it up. I've used it a couple of times just for some little things. I'm learning much more about it, especially after this past weekend. So just kind of recap real quick. I thought I was going to be on a camping lot with generators.
He wasn't. Actually, you were, just not one you could use.
Not mine. Yeah.
Just
not one I
white
could
noise.
use. But thankfully I had brought this, and I kind of brought it because one of the reasons was I was like, I'll use it and maybe I can do it for the gear segment, like we're doing right now. But it turned into a much more dire need of a piece of equipment, a survival of being able to sleep because it was so hot. So I brought like a desk fan. I've had this fan since college. This thing
and he's old.
It's pretty old.
It's an old fan.
And I use it. I was going to say it. I use this fan every night. This thing has a million hours on it. So anyway, I brought that fan and charged a couple phones. My phone and my son's phone. So the first night, I set my fan up on top of it, turn it on full blast, and we plug our phones into it. Wake up the next morning, like 8 hours later, and the battery was at 61%. And I was going to be there 2 nights. So I'm like, well, I use approximately 40%. I should have plenty for the second night. However, there was still a little bit of this, like,
Not sure.
it's kind of like
Anxiety.
Yeah, it's kind of anxiety of like, if that thing dies in the middle of the night,
I'm gonna die.
No fan.
I will die,
Oh gosh.
or I will not sleep.
Sleep in the car.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'll go sleep in the truck.
R.I.P. Greg.
And so this thing saved my life and my son's life. I owe my life to this thing.
That is quite
And-
the statement.
And this segment is not sponsored by
This thing is
Jackery.
not
They did not.
sponsored. I bought this with my own money. Actually, before we could go, Nate, you want to throw the discount code in there for everybody that stuck around this long? We appreciate you. Our discount code this week is Bullseye20. BULLSEYE20. Bullseye20 will get you 20%. No, it's 20%.
Yeah, 20% off.
20% off for the next approximately 36 hours. It'll expire Thursday at midnight. So you guys can use that. Make sure you're signed into your insider's account. If you're not an insider, hit the pop-up that comes up on the website, or you could just search Insiders Club in the little search bar at the top of the website. Sign up for that. You'll also get a 15% off discount code when you sign up. So you get 2 codes, and yeah, so you guys can use that.
Yay!
Not on the Jackery because we don't carry them on our website, but on any of the other gear that we do have on our website. So I thought I would kind of give my experience with it, maybe some pros and cons for it. Mike has some input. He's been using Jackery for longer than I have. Tib also has some experience with Bluety. Right?
I actually have a Jackery and a Blue Eddy.
Okay,
I think that's how you say it, Blue Eddy.
Yeah,
Bluety
so,
sounds better.
Nate, you can experience with anything like this?
Not anything big like this.
Okay.
I've used generators before.
Yeah,
but not power banks.
So I have several generators. I bought a Champion Power Equipment 2500 watt
Is that the
ultra
quiet
light.
one?
Yes, it is. I love that generator. It is so quiet. It's dual fuel, uses gasoline or propane. If you have multiple of them, you can actually you can like daisy chain them. But I brought it to ORD the last couple of years, and you can have it sitting next to you, and you can't tell that it's that it's running.
Those small inverters are amazing. The Honda one too.
Yeah, it weighs
So
39. Well, it's 39 pounds dry. 2,500 watts. So it does have more wattage than what this does, but
which isn't surprising, really.
no. I think we're probably all more familiar with a generator. The nice thing about a generator is you can look in the tank when it's empty. You put more fuel in it. You close it up, and you're good to go. Right. So as long as you have fuel, you're going to have power. The anxiety that I had with this is I'm like, I don't really have any way to fill this up. Kind of. I plugged into my truck for a little bit, but the problem is I'm not going to run my 6.2 liter V8
nope
to charge up my Jackery. That doesn't make any sense. So I immediately had buyer's regret. And it's funny because I had just told Nate probably a couple weeks earlier was the Amazon Prime Days.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know, the 10th time that I've put a solar panel in my cart.
Oh, yes.
I put it in my cart, looked at it, and gone,
when would I ever use this?
When am I really going to use this?
Why would I buy one?
I immediately, as I'm laying an 80-degree tent at night,
solar panel.
Said I would have paid $1,000 for a solar panel
just to make sure I don't run out of power.
I would have paid so much more for it. So that said, I have one
on the way.
On the way, I came back and I ordered one because
could have had 20% off like 3 weeks ago, but that's
tax
fine.
free too, right?
Oh, it is tax free. So yeah, so
deals and steals.
And again, this is not a commercial. Well, it's kind of a commercial Jackery. This is my experience with it.
Thank you, Jackery.
Sponsor us, Jackery.
I paid for it. Yeah,
I bought mine too.
So I do have a 200-watt solar panel on the way, which I'm actually really excited about.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because you can actually even just use that to charge things up as well. So I will have less anxiety about using this more often now. But here's some of the great things about it. We had this in our tent, right? Like you're not going to put a generator in your tent and survive. So I had this in our tent, zero noise at all, running a fan, charging things. That was so awesome. There is a screen on it. What's that, Tib?
A little night light on it.
Yeah, there's a light on it. So that on this model, there's a light and there's like a low, high, and strobe to it. So if you needed help, you could take this thing and sit on the side of the road and turn the strobe on it. That would run for days and days and days. So I actually did a little more research on it recently. I've had this for almost a year. So this thing will run a refrigerator, which is actually kind of crazy how little power a refrigerator uses these days. But it'll run a refrigerator for days.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I bet the refrigerator, once it's cool, it probably doesn't take much of any
because they're insulated so well. And so it was like, it draws like 200 watts. The nice thing about this is there's a screen on it. You can see how much power it's using. If you're charging it, you can see how much power is charging it. There's an app for it. So you can look on the app. You can turn things on and off from your app. You can see how much power's on it on the app. The app's really cool.
Yeah, I need to get the app. I didn't know about the app until
I'm even more. I thought it was just kind of like a cool little piece of kit before. Now I'm looking at this as a much more viable thing. Like you can use this to run a microwave off of a coffee machine. So this one will go up to 1,500 watts, which you're coming pretty close on a microwave and coffee machine on a wattage wise. But like a fan, a refrigerator, all those things you can run off it for days. If you have a solar panel or some way to kind of charge it up, it has like an emergency charge mode. You have to turn it on from the app. It'll charge faster if you turn the emergency charge thing. It'll charge to 100% in an hour, which is
that's kind of the leading
which
point
is crazy.
To why I have my Jackery. I mean, it's designated in the vehicle. Every now and then it comes out of the vehicle to get charged, but it stays in the truck for an emergency. In case the truck broke down, I had no power. I'm on the side of the road, and I'm one to always have I'm at 20% on my battery right now. So it's that necessity that you need when you don't think you need it, right? My 240, I'm shopping on Jackery's website now. Looking at
this is
such a good deal.
This is the Jackery 1000 Explorer,
and mine still for what I needed did everything. Now we were talking about it before the podcast. I borrowed a 500 to power a fridge, and I had to run the solar panels during the day to keep it going, or connect both Jackeries at once and power both of them, which was phenomenal and lasted me a week in the Florida sun. But yeah, they're phenomenal. Like I haven't done the Blue Eddy. I've seen some reviews on them, but once you go to Jackery, you don't go back, except for Tib.
Yeah, Tib, what's your experience with the Jackery versus Blue Eddy and stuff? What's your input on these?
So I had a very small Jackery, the smallest one they made. I think it was like a 160 or something was the model number, and it was great. Laptop, phone, emergency. I had the solar panels with it so I could recharge it. I would bring that to, like I haven't done it this year, but in the past few years, I'll take my laptop and I'll go work at a coffee shop, or I'll go work by a beach with a nice view or something. And I would bring that just in case my laptop battery died. I plug it in and I get a nice place to work for the day. It didn't have a great battery if we were going to do like a weekend thing. That's why I upgraded to the Blue Eddy. I don't remember which one I have. It looks to be about the same as your Jackery. And again, with the solar panels, like you said, it's fantastic. You use it at night or throughout the day, leave the panels out there and just let the unit recharge. Yeah, we've used it camping. We've used it at the beach. We've used it a decent amount of time.
Yeah. With one 200 watt, so I got the 200 watt solar panel, which looks pretty big. It's not a little thing. It folds up pretty small, but when it's out, it's pretty big. So it'll charge this is from 0, which the chances of this being at 0 and needing to be charged is very slim. But from 0, so it was like 8 or 9 hours, and that's also with
full sun. Yeah.
With Ohio, they're not. That's just
it'll be 2 weeks.
Not going to happen. Too often. Those last couple of weeks, we've had plenty of sun.
If you were at Cedar Point yesterday, you'd have it in about 5 minutes. Just sit on top of any of those roller coasters. You would have had it in 5 minutes. No problem.
But I was kind of laughing because Jackery's website said, for the solar panel to charge this unit up to 1,000, it said six 200 watt solar panels. You basically have a solar field farm in your yard to charge this thing up. Now it would also charge it up in like an hour and a half, which is ridiculous. I'd have no interest in doing that. I would just like to be able to top it off, because chances are, like in any trips I'm going to do, I'm going to have power adjacent opportunities at least every couple of days. I can go somewhere and plug it in.
Well, even what the trip you did this weekend, you could have had the solar panel outside of the tent with it routed into the Jackery.
That's what I would have done during the day if I would have had that. And we would have been, and it may not have been at 100% by the time you got back, but it would have been in the 80s, 90s. No, I think it probably would have been completely charged. Because again, if it was 61% after the first day, it only needed to charge 40%.
Well, but regardless,
it would have charged up that day.
Yeah.
But yes,
it would have been, you would have been fine for overnight. No problem. All of your power anxiety would have been gone.
Yeah. So I think, I think the question is, for some people is like, does it make sense to do this over a generator? Because you can get, I meant to write down the cost that I could look them up real quick. I'm just going just by what I have.
Yeah. So
that Champion 2500 watt, which again is another league above this. This is 1500 watt. So 1,000 more watt. I think I paid $300-400 for that little Champion dual fuel, 1,000 more watt. So cheaper, because I think these are like closer to 500 or 600. You can get them with like a discount. They're constantly on sale, even on their website. Sunday it was on the website. There's like a little they kind of have like an instant coupon thing there. So you can get these for, it's going to be more. You're going to get less wattage. So I think the kind of question it comes down to is like
use case.
Yeah,
I think is really what it comes down to.
Do you want to be able to take this? The great thing about this, I can have one of my kids say, "Hey, go grab it. It weighs 25 pounds." Or 25 pounds. Say, go grab the Jackery, bring it in, plug the fridge into it because we lost power. They can do that, and it can come inside. I don't have to run an extension cord from my back patio through the screen window, which I've had to do before.
You don't have to have gas or anything like that.
There are some really great pros to it.
Sure.
But there are some cons. So recharge versus refill. Your best case scenario, you have an hour to recharge it. To refill takes 30 seconds in a gas can.
Yeah.
The cost, it definitely costs more. However, you could probably easily
long term, it's probably going to
like you're not buying fuel for it. Is what I was going to get to. Like, you know, like you can easily justify that cost difference. I don't have to buy fuel for it at
Correct.
$3 a gallon. One of the biggest things is with as often as I have used my generator, I'm changing the oil pretty frequently too in the generator. I know I don't change oil in my lawnmowers, but I do. But
Here's some good lawnmower stories.
Yeah, if you want to go back to one of the first episodes, I talked about how I didn't change the oil in a lawnmower and it exploded. But but in my generator, I did change the oil. So there's a maintenance to it.
Sure.
There's moving parts. I've actually had my generator. So we went camping once. Brought that Champion generator. For whatever reason, I could not get it to start.
Mm-hmm.
I could not get it to start. I don't know why.
Bad guess.
I went back home. I changed the oil in it.
Ain't got no gas.
What's wrong with it?
It had gas.
No gas in it.
It had gas. It had oil. I don't know. I went home and tinkered with it, and eventually I got it to start again. I don't know if it's bad gas or something like that. I don't know, but this will start everything as long as it's charged. Will start every time. So, and then also the power limitation. If you want the same power as what a generator is going to be able to offer, you are going to have to get a pretty big Jackery or multiple of these in order to get the same.
Just different options.
Yeah.
It really depends on your use case. I think so this is speaking from somebody who doesn't have one. I'm not going to say don't have a use for one. I just have not had one. There's definitely, so the camping weekends that we go down to our friend's property, usually for hunting and that kind of stuff, he doesn't have power run down there. He just literally brings a car battery for some lights. There's heat in the cabin, but there's no power to the cabin. So I usually bring a couple battery banks just to plus up my phone to make sure, because I always bring my phone when we're hunting just in case something happens, and I don't ever want my phone to not be plussed up in that case. So I bring a couple battery banks, but having something like this would be super convenient where everyone has power. No one has to worry about charging anything. We've got something like that. That'd be super convenient. And the ability to recharge it with a solar panel would be awesome.
Yeah.
There's definitely a use case for that. A generator is just a different application. I don't think it's bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
We should have all our Jackeries out at ORD. Tib, bring yours. We'll have our solar banks
Hey,
too.
you got to fly with your. I'm not sure how well these fly.
Sir, what is that in your suitcase?
Have any batteries in your suitcase?
Nope.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got one.
I could power this airplane with it.
I'm gonna have to carry it on. You can't check that.
Yeah.
I do plan on getting a smaller one. I would like that. There's like a 250 or 500 or something like
the
that.
250.
Because I'd like to leave one in my truck.
Yeah, it's
and this is a little bigger than what I want to leave in my truck. So I'd like to get a smaller one to leave in my truck.
Harbor Freight.
I'm hoping that the solar panel folds up small enough that it would be able to easily hide somewhere in my truck.
If you get the solar panel and fold it up, don't put it on the hood of your truck. Forget about it. Drive away and run over it.
Ooh, I plead the fifth.
Like Michael did with the solar panel that he got.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where
Good job,
he
Mike.
put it on the hood of his
so
truck.
they do have some solar panels now that actually you can fold up and they can collapse, throw it into a bag.
He ran over the one that he had.
I was able to clean that from your.
The one that
His felt
mine-
folded up too.
mine folded up, but
Yeah.
you couldn't run over the connection port. But it's great for throwing it in a pack and everything else. The one downside, one of the caveats to it, it's like backpacking. Jackery has some of the small portable chargers, which are great and to plus up your gear. But like I would not tote this in the woods. Even my 250, it's tiny. I can throw it in a bag. But 4 hours in with an extra 5-6 pounds on top of everything else.
More than what you would need.
Right. Yeah. So for the purpose of how I'm using my Jackery, it's always there for an emergency. But when I camp overland or anything like that, I've got a constant power supply outside of cranking up the truck, burning the gas. Yeah. But when it's hot like it is at times, what do we end up doing? We get in the truck, crank it up in the morning, brush our teeth, change our clothes in the truck if we can. So I do utilize that in the morning time if I'm going to run the truck, or if it, heaven forbid, it's cold, it's coming. Yeah. If it's cold, I'll crank it up then and charge it.
They do have, I'm sure other companies do as well, but I saw on Jackery's website that they do have a car starter thing you can plug into this, which that makes keeping one of these in your truck much more obvious as well. You can use it as a starter.
So my dad has, it's not, I don't know if it's a Jackery, I don't know what brand. He has a battery. It's much smaller than this. It's a battery bank that can charge your phone or anything like that, but it also can jump a truck battery. He also uses it from time to time on his tractor when he's down at the property as well. It's great. That's something that 100% makes any of these things worth it. If you can put one of those in your vehicle with a pair of jumper cables that can hook to it, you don't need another vehicle. You don't need to rely on anyone else. You can just jump it straight from that battery. It's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right. Yeah, this episode is
Not sponsored.
Literally, it is not sponsored. However, it is completely powered
by Jackery.
By Jackery.
Woohoo.
Sponsor us.
All this.
You know, you say you've been walking for 30 years, right?
Right.
Have you ever thought that maybe you were lost?
No.
How do you know that you're walking in the right direction?
Walk by faith, not by sight.
What does that mean?
It means that you know something even if you don't know something.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't have to make sense. It's faith. It's faith. It's the flower of light in the field of darkness. It's giving me the strength to carry on. You understand?
I don't think she does.
I'm pretty sure I had that discussion with my kids walking out of Cedar Point yesterday. It's the faith. The entrance is that way. There's faith. Just follow me.
Trust me.
Trust me. No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Our fourth and final segment, faith and fuel. I like to grab a verse that there were plenty of verses that I could have picked that actually would have perfectly fit into the things that we talked about today. But this verse was actually in one of our little flip book things yesterday. If you guys have been, these guys here with me have been keeping up with it. At least part of this is I took a bigger chunk out of it. So I'm going to read out of 1 Corinthians 1, verses 26 to 31. If you are listening, you want to flip to that, go ahead and flip that to it. So the context of this is Paul is telling the people in the church that their belief looks foolish to the world by the world's standards. And so, I'll go ahead and read this. So, for consider your calling, brothers. Not many of you are wise according to the worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human might boast in the presence of God. And because of him, you are in Christ Jesus, who became to us wisdom from God, righteousness and sanctification and redemption, so that, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. So, yeah, what sticks out to you guys in this verse?
No, I'll go first again.
Go for it.
I think the first time I read it, I draw a connection. I don't remember what book it's in, but when Jesus is talking about, if you're fasting, don't look like you're fasting, and if you're giving, donating, don't sound a horn before you do it. If you're doing things to get attention, if you're being boastful, then it's not going to help you out. You've already received your reward, is I think what he said. Instead, do the right thing to do the right thing without, making a big scene and let everybody know that you're doing it. So that's the thing that stood out.
Yeah. Just what are we chasing in this world, and what are we trying to be known for and seen for?
Yeah, do it because it's the right thing and you want to help people, not to let everybody else see you do it and try to get some sort of recognition or whatever.
Use your liberty to do what you ought.
There you go.
Choice. Yeah, no, to kind of follow up with what Tib's saying, that's kind of what I put here in my notes too, and this is even in a degree, in a positive aspect, but something that I'm aware of for myself, a self-reflection, right? But a lot of us are chasing a status, whether it be a bigger bank, nicer toys, recognition, and none are bad in themselves. But when they become a measure of our worth, they're empty in God's eyes. So that's what I look at this one, and kind of leading into the question that follows is, like, we can see where it says here, God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. And it's like taking the homeless person off the street to make an example and a positive example in the world to fool the wise that has everything that they need, all the commodities, because maybe that person that was homeless put their belief or their faith in God. And that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
So when I think of this, I think of, I just think, well, it just in recent news, there's the CEO that was caught cheating, right?
I'll never go to a Coldplay concert again.
You know, what he did was foolish. And this guy who thought that he could get away with making poor decisions eventually found shame. And he thought in his own eyes that he was being wise in his choices, but it was foolish. And not just to shine a light on him and what he did, but there's so many things that I can pull out of my life that I spend time and energy and chase after things that in the end I've found no lasting joy from or anything. It's really just all it does is take more from me, and I'm not any wiser from it. I'm not any stronger from it. It's actually done the opposite. Nate, what do you think?
There's been a lot of thinking in this podcast.
I warned you guys. This episode is going to be a lot.
It's deep.
The suspense.
I'm just trying to think how to word my thoughts. That's all. Not sure. I'm trying to order thoughts. Well, so you pose a question below. What are we chasing with our time, talents, and money that brings us gain in this world, but is foolish in God's eyes? In God's eyes, what do we need to let go of? I think back to a situation one of my pastors talked about years ago. A gentleman pulled into church, and he was in a insanely expensive sports car. I can't remember what it was. The brand is immaterial, but it was a 6-figure sports car. He comes driving into church, and our pastor overheard some folks off to the side making some silly comments about, oh, well, if he'd used that money for the good of the kingdom type of thing, you know, he spent so much money on this car, and how dare he do that, you know? And pastor walked over and was like, hey guys, I would not normally, you know, have a conversation with someone, but I just want to let you know he has chosen to live on 10% of what he makes. He donates 90% of what he makes to charitable giving, to ministry, to the church, and he lives on 10%. So he bought some insane sports car on his 10% living and has been giving 90% of his income away. And in his case, this was, so he was able to buy this, and it was fun. It was something cool for him to do, and he enjoyed it. But it's not, he wasn't doing anything untoward. In the world's eyes, even some people that believe the same things we do, he did something wrong. But he was blessed. God has blessed him. And I don't think he's looking at that in any other, it's not a status symbol. It's not something like that, because he could have so much more. For him, this was just, I got to buy a cool car because I can, but I've been
fruits of the labor, you know?
Yeah.
In a small 10%.
Correct. And I think of that story whenever I think of something like this. If we're chasing all of that status and everything, what more could we be giving? What more could we be doing or concentrating on? Maybe not giving, that's not the right word, but what could we be concentrating our energy on that would be of value? Not even for so other people can hear it, but just that we can better the kingdom and better our relationship with God, right? What you said, what do we need to let go of? There's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of to that. Somebody I was talking to yesterday, a great friend of mine, as a personal trainer, they struggle with the pride, with getting out there, having the conversations with people, and the approval. And sometimes we're always, not always, but there's a lot of times that we're chasing the approval and things. We're chasing our own pride or our own ego in the sense. And that's kind of to follow up with the question of what are we chasing our time with, or what are we willing to let go of? And that's, for me in my own, is let go of chasing approval, let go of envy, and let go of pride, and hold on to what matters. And the question is, what do we need to let go of? But also I follow it with, what do we need to hold on to? And for me, it's faith, service, and integrity. And I put in here that says, use what we were given to make an impact that lasts beyond this life. So that's a hard one. It's not something that we live by in a perfect manner daily or flawlessly. But for me, those are the things that I related to a friend, but also in reflecting on all of this podcast. It's one of those things we let go of envy, let go of pride, stop chasing the approval of others. If that's an inspiration to others, please do that and use that, but hold on to the faith and the service and the integrity. Because I think that integrity always falls back to your moral code and your moral compass.
Yeah, just to kind of go back to the end of scripture section here, it says, and because of him, you are in Christ and Jesus, who became to us wisdom from God. So Jesus came to be wisdom from God, and righteousness, sanctification, which sanctification means to be set apart. You are, when you believe in God and you follow in God's eyes, you are set apart. You've been sanctified. You are set apart and redeemed, and redemption. So you've been redeemed. You're made righteous. You are set apart, and you are redeemed in God's eyes. So you now have all these things.
What's left?
Yes. What else matters?
What's left?
Who cares what you're driving and how much money's in your bank account and stocks and just all these things that we seek after, because we're trying to find the world's approval, and we're trying to look good to the world by by the things we own and the places that we travel to and all these things. But when we have God, when he has made us righteous, he has set us apart, and he has redeemed us and made us new, none of that stuff matters. And it ends with, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. The only thing that, if you are a follower of Jesus, the only thing to boast about, the only thing that matters, is what Jesus did for you, and how he has made you righteous, set you apart, and redeemed you. So when we're looking at life through that lens, when we look at our life and what we are doing with our time, when we look at what we're doing with our liberties and our life, and doing what we ought to do for others, and how we're equipping ourselves to do those things, when we look at all those things through this lens of what God did for us, it should change completely how we look at all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And when we ask ourselves, what do we need to let go of, that list in this lens, that list of things that we need to let go of, and the things that we need to
becomes a lot longer
to stop boasting about on our own, because anything that we try to say we do on our own, also, this is a whole nother set of verses and podcasts. There's nothing that we have that has not been given to us by God. So what we boast in, if we take credit, we boast in ourselves, we're stealing. We were talking about stealing before. We're stealing that glory from God who gave that to us.
It's just noise.
It's noise. And it's so easy for us. I am so guilty of this. I'm so guilty of this, of trying to of feeling like I've done any of this, and then wanting to boast about it, when that should not be mindset. So, yeah. You guys have any other final thoughts, Tib?
No, nothing to add. That was a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, this episode was very heavy, almost 2 hours. So the longest one yet. I knew it was going to be a long one. Yeah, there's a lot to chew on this week. I hope that these thoughts, if you were to go back and listen to this podcast and think about the things that we talked about under this lens of what God has given us, and who we boast in, is going to be big. So, yeah. All right, you guys ready to wrap this?
Let's wrap
it up.
Let's get back to work. Got things to do around here. Thanks for tuning in to Life, Liberty, and Equipped podcast. If today's conversation challenged you, encouraged you, or helped you get more equipped to pursue your mission, share with a friend, drop a comment, and please, please, please leave us a review.
Don't forget, we go live on the Neomag YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be part of the next live show.
And if you're not already part of the Neomag Insiders Club, now's the time. Get early access to Neomag gear, exclusive content, and front row seats to everything we're building.
Until next time, live boldly, stand for liberty, and stay equipped with the Jackery. See you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the live. We appreciate everyone that stopped by. We hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation. We know it was a heavier one, a little bit longer, but we hope you guys enjoyed it. So we appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out and listening to us jaw jack for 2 hours about the Jackery and liberty and Jesus. Jeez. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.